So when we are talking about virtual and memory, so what is the meaning of virtual memory? Virtual means which is not real, which is not physically available. And memory is what? Where we store our information. We need to store our information at certain places. So that is uh, what memory is for. So, how we can relate the term virtual memory? Virtual means something that is not real, that is not physically available. So, we are providing a means so that our data can be stored somewhere else, maybe, or maybe somewhere else takes care of our data, but still we are not having physical resources, like we don't have that much of secondary memory or the primary memory. Still we are able to store our data somewhere into memory. So that is the concept of virtual memory lies, and we need to maintain certain mechanisms for the management of virtual memory. So let's see into detail what actually virtual memory is. Basically, virtual memory is a feature of operating system that allows a computer to compensate for storage of physical memory by temporarily transferring pages of data from random access memory to disk storage. So we are just elusify the user, whosoever the user is. We are creating an environment, creating an illusion for the user that it seems that we are having that much of memory, but actually we are at backend managing all the transferations of pages from secondary to primary, or maybe primary to secondary, in a way that user is elusified that they are having extended memory. Like we required 6 GB, let's say 6 GB of data to store a certain amount of processes or maybe the data. But actually we are having 4 GB. 2 GB is shorter. So we are managing the loading, unloading, linking such a way that users are elusify and able to store 6 GB of data into 4 GB of RAM. So this is how virtual memory concept lies. So virtual memory is a technique that allows the execution of processes that are not completely in memory. It is a method of using hard disk space to provide extra memory. So basically it is an illusion that a computer system processes more memory that is actually having. And one major advantage of this scheme is that programs can be longer than physical memory. We can code lengthy programs, in spite of that we are not having that much of memory. So on a virtual memory system, the logical memory space available to the program is totally independent of the physical memory space. Programs needing, let's say, 220 bytes of memory can run on virtual memory system with only 216 bytes. So still we are having 4 bytes less. So this way we can manage with the help of certain techniques. So virtual memory technique frees programmers from the concern of memory storage limitations. Users need not to bother about how to store, how to manage, and where to store the data. That all tasks will be handled and maintained by virtual memory mechanisms. So virtual memory will reduce the cost of expanding the capacity of physical memory. We need not to invest too much into buying the resources to extend the memory. Rather, we can spend a certain amount of time in configuring the techniques, the mechanisms for virtual management, and we can uh, accommodate larger amount of data into limited space available. So in a Windows operating system, the amount of virtual memory available equals to the amount of free main memory plus the amount of disk space allocated to swap the files. So a swap file is an area of our hard disk that is set aside from virtual memory, where we can perform certain swap in or swap out of the programs. So swap files can be either temporary or permanent, that doesn't matter. Virtual memory allows for very effective multi-programming and relies the user of the unnecessary constraints of main memory. So basically, we can say its virtual memory serves two major purposes. First, it allows to us to extend the use of physical memory by using disk, and secondly, it allows us to have memory protection because each virtual address is translated to a physical address, and it uses main memory efficiently by treating it as a cache for an address space stored on disk, keeping only the active areas in the main memory, as we were doing in case of dynamic loading, and transferring data back and forth between disk and memory as needed. So it simplifies memory management by providing each process with the uniform address space. It protects the address space of each process from corruption by other processes as well. So intervention of other processes while one process is executing is very important in virtual memory. So moving ahead, all the translations of virtual addresses to physical addresses is done by memory management unit. So that is the task of memory management unit to maintain all the virtual addresses into the physical addresses. So what is virtual address actually? As we know, virtual memory is what? A storage allocation scheme in which secondary memory can be addressed as though it were part of main memory. So likewise, when we are dealing with virtual addresses, the address assigned to location in virtual memory to allow that location to be accessed as though it were part of main memory. So on the whole, we have separated main memory from secondary memory, and virtual memory is dealing with secondary memory. So virtual memory we can say is uh, the virtual addresses are the addresses which are mapped in secondary memory to main memory. So main memory is what? Where the physical addresses lies. And what is virtual address space? The virtual address space of a process refers to logical, or we can say virtual view of how a process is stored in memory. So it is the virtual storage assigned to a process. That means how they will be stored in secondary memory. That space where they are being stored in secondary memory is referred to as your virtual address space. So address space is basically the range of memory address available to a process. So whether it is in main memory or in secondary memory, whatsoever the address space, the available range of memory is allocated to particular process, that is termed as its address space. And real addresses are what? What are the physical addresses or the real addresses? The address of a storage location in main memory. So when a process is loaded into main memory, whatsoever the area where they are being stored is termed as your physical address space. And the addresses over which the process is stored in secondary memory is termed as your virtual address space. So we have certain advantages. We'll be moving to demand paging later on. Let's see to the advantages of virtual memory first. So what are the various advantages could be? Virtual memory is basically a technique that allows the execution of process that may not be completely in memory. So we are preferring dynamic loading and linking in virtual memory. So as and when a process needs to be loaded in main memory for execution, only then it will be loaded, otherwise it will stay in the other location apart from secondary memory, apart from main memory. So it can be secondary memory, it can be some maybe USB or some other sort of resource. It can be any, but not the main memory. So any memory other than your main memory would be termed as the virtual memory. So we can allocate large processes, we can load large processes in chunks. So one main advantage of virtual memory scheme is that program can be larger than the physical memory. Physical memory means that memory which is available in main memory. Further, virtual memory is the separation of user logical memory from physical memory. So this separation allows an extremely large virtual memory to be provided for programmers when only a smaller physical memory is available. So this technique frees programmer from the concern of memory storage limitations. They can focus on their task, and virtual memory also allows processes to share files easily and to implement shared memory. Additionally, it also provides an efficient mechanism for process creation. The ability to execute a program that is only partially in memory would give many benefits. As in, a program would no longer be uh, constrained by the amount of physical memory that is available. So user need not to worry about this much is memory available and I can code only this amount of program. No, they can deal with larger programs. In spite of that, they are having limited storage space. User would be able to write programs for an extremely large virtual address space, simplifying the programming task. And because each user program could take less physical memory, more programs could be run at the same time with the corresponding increase in CPU utilization and throughput, but with no increase in response time or turnaround time. So we can increase the productivity, CPU utilization, but still we are ensuring that the throughput remains same or the turnaround time will not be increased. They don't have to face the delays. So less input output would be needed to load and swap user programs into memory. So each user program would run faster. So basically all these factors leads to the benefits that are as system libraries can be shared by several processes through mapping of shared object into a virtual address space. Although each process considers the libraries to be part of its virtual address space, the actual pages where the libraries reside in physical memory are shared by all processes. Since we are preferring dynamic loading and linking in this scenario, so we are able to access or share system library files. And similarly, processes can share memory. Two or more processes can communicate through use of shared memory. Virtual memory always one process to create a region of memory that it can share with another process. So it allows basically the creation of one process while other is in execution in the same storage space. So processes share this region, consider it part of their virtual address space, yet the actual physical pages of memory are shared. So pages can be shared during process creation with the fork system, and it actually speeds up process creation and execution speed as well. So we can perform huge amount of multi-programming and multitasking when we are implementing or maintaining our memory with the help of virtual memory. So it is facing a few uh, disadvantages as well. So considering the disadvantages of this technique is we have to maintain processor overheads as well. We have to keep track of all the pages that are being loaded or swapped in or swapped out of main memory. So this way we have to maintain huge logs and overheads which additionally occupy the memory spaces. Then coming to demand paging is what? So here is the concept of demand paging, what actually demand paging is. So it is quite similar to paging system as we have discussed in memory management scheme with swapping, where processes reside in secondary memory and pages are loaded only on demand, not in advance. So virtual memory technique is highly dependent on uh, demand paging, which is commonly used in virtual memory systems. So with demand paged virtual memory, pages are loaded only when they are demanded during program execution. So as we know, we have divided whole program into small pages, and all the pages are being mapped into main memory in the form of frames into the frame. So we map pages into the frame, and we map these pages only when they are required to be executed. If they are not presently active, they need not to be executed right at spot, or maybe their execution can be pending to later stages. So they will be residing in the secondary memory only, they will not be loaded in the main memory. So this is the basic concept of demand paging, and this we will discuss in detail in our next session. So we'll be continuing with virtual memory in our next session along with discussion of demand paging, their advantages and disadvantages, and performance of demand paging, how it executes. So what is the basic difference between demand paging and segmentation? Then we have page replacement algorithms. So we'll be resuming with our discussion in our next session. So as if now we have discussed about what virtual memory is, why we need to have virtual memory, the various advantages and disadvantages of virtual memory. Then apart from this, we have discussed about virtual memory, virtual addresses, virtual address space, and what are the real addresses. This is what we have discussed. So as if now, if anyone wants to ask, you can drop your query in the chat box.